Hey guys, so we've got kind of an exciting video for you here. We've got kind of a barn find Chevelle, and I obviously can't tell you, for obvious reasons, where we're located, but we're on rural Saskatchewan, and we've got kind of a unicorn here that we're just going to have a quick look at. And what we're trying to do is just authenticate what we're looking at and get as much information as we can, and yeah, send some information off to Vintage Vehicle Services, and yeah, because what we have here, we know that for sure, from what we can tell, only 50 of these cars were made, and I think it's gonna trickle down from there to even less. So this is a 66 Chevelle Malibu SS convertible, big block, black exterior, white interior, power windows, power steering, power brakes, a high option car, and kind of a sought after car, just in view of the fact that it is a convertible. It is black, it is with white interior. It does have, we can tell you for sure that it did have a big block in it at one time. Unfortunately, that original motor's gone. But we'll go over some of that with you here and show you what we have. So these 66, now I guess first of all I should state that the Malibu S was a Canadian only.
Yeah, it was like a trim package like the 65 Malibu SS, the A51 sports option.
Right, so not like an American cousin. They're a little bit different. You could get several different engine options in the Malibu SS from Canada, whereas the SS's in the States were strictly a big block option.
You could get a 194, 283, 230, 327, or 396 in the Canadian version, and it was just a sports option package.
Right. So there was some things that we did find that are interesting here. Now, this cove on the back is supposed to have a silver, colored in silver, and we are actually finding in behind this black paint. Now, from what we can tell, this car was rear-ended at one time possibly, and this trunk lid has been replaced. You can see it's a different color there. The car is originally black, and this cove is supposed to be silver, and we've got evidence of that underneath this black paint very clearly. So that checks out. We also have, of course, the emblems on the car, the rear rocker moldings, as well as the rib rocker moldings. I don't know if you can see that in the video. The white interior, which checks out according to the VIN tag, Buckus console, and power window car. So it was rather a high option car, of course convertible as well.
Looks like somebody painted the dash pad white. It was originally black.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah. And then, of course, they're supposed to have the cross flags, which this does, and it clearly says 396 on there. It has the correct radiator for big block, and there's also the 3/8 fuel line. I don't know if you can get your light down there, Ken, but it does have the proper fuel line for big block. Of course, this is a small block in here today.
Another thing to look at is the steering column, where the rag joint goes onto the shaft, has a clamped, splined end on the end of the steering column shaft.
Right.
That was a big block only thing.
Right.
Because on assembly they couldn't get the regular welded rag joint past the manifolds on a big block.
As they were assembling. And here's the real key stuff here. So we've got the VIN tag here, and we've gone through, and hopefully we can pick that up in the video. So Kelvin, just decipher all this for us while we're looking at it.
In Canada, they listed the RPO codes right on the cowl tag, which was really a benefit for us. We're very fortunate, but So you can see the production date up at the top, first shift of the second month, so February 8th of 66. It's got the body number. The body style, 13667, being a Malibu convertible. So, you know, I mean, it's just like any other small block or 6-cylinder convertible, except when you get down to the RPO line. So in the paint, A being a tuxedo black, trim is 797, which in this case is a white with black trim, so white with a black dash pad and various other black accents. And then down to the RPO line. So you got the A31 being power windows, A51 in this case, because it doesn't have the D55 for the console beside it, being a Canadian car, the A51 was a sports option. That gave you buckets, console, Malibu SS trim, the lower rocker moldings, the silver rear cove, but you could still get any engine you wanted.
Yeah.
Now, just above that is the M35, M35 being Power Glide, as most are aware. CO6, power convertible top. This one right here, there's the money. L34, 360 horse, 396, and then top 1C, that would be the top color. So.
Correct, yeah, that's really cool.
Absolutely unique and interesting
Yeah.
car.
Big block, convertible, Malibu SS. We already know that there's at least 50 of these, and we're gonna have to, you know, trickle it down from there and
so
find
the
out more.
information is going to be going to Vintage Vehicle Services to get the authentication that the car is exactly what we think it is. But as you can see, it still has 3 of the T3 headlamps in it. Both high beams and 1 low beam are still looks like the proper vintage T3s.
Yeah. Yeah, so everything so far is kind of checking out to what we think this all is here.
And it is a relatively solid car, other than what we don't know about bringing it out of the Quonset here, but it was a rust-free car when it came into the yard here. This was a running, driving, rust-free car.
Yeah, and was driven in here.
It was driven in here,
So
into the yard, and
So you'll notice too that it had the flat hood.
flat hood.
Yeah.
Which was, you know, because we weren't getting the 138 Fisher bodies for the big block cars in Canada. Nothing had a bulge to it, whether 66 or 67, until they say probably late November of 67, when the 138s were finally built. So that's perfectly normal. It also doesn't have the blackout grille that the Super Sports would have had, that a 138 car would have had in the US.
Yeah,
so this
so-
is just your basic Malibu grille, but all correct for this car as a Canadian built car.
yeah, the non-bulge hood, the non-blocked out, that's all Canadian Malibu SS stuff.
You
is
betcha.
what we're looking
There's
at here.
nothing here to show that, in fact, considering the column is a definite big block floor shift column. The radiator is obviously the big block rad, the 3/8 fuel line, the rocker moldings, the A51 code for that sports package, that is, or sports option, that is the real thing. And then when you see that L34, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
It's the real,
Yeah, and
real
that's,
thing.
yeah, so a true big block convertible Malibu SS. Yeah, so basically the plan here is to get further documentation on this, find out, you know, is this a 1 of 10, a 1 of 20, a 1 of 5? We don't know. We don't know that part of it. So we're going to find out more information on this car. And then the plan in the coming weeks is to get it out of here and then further assess it. What kind of shape is the frame in, and the rest of the body. From what we're looking at, it's not too bad. Actually, we looked in the trunk too, and the trunk looks pretty solid.
So this is very curious too. I'd like to add something, and I'd be interested to see if the GM documentation from Vintage Vehicle Services can shed some more light on this. But it apparently has a clock in the dash, as you can see by the setting knob, but it also has the clock in the console.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's one of those things with like the Canadian anomaly, when you don't really know, like depending on what they had on hand for production when they were putting these cars together, it is possible that it could have had the clock in the dash, but because it was an A51 sports option car, the console had a clock in it.
Ah, okay.
So this car may have, from the factory, had 2 clocks.
So can you see one in there?
Yeah, it is definitely in there. You can tell by the setting knob as
Oh,
well
yeah,
as...
it is there.
Yep.
Look at that.
So it's got a clock there and a clock in the console, which is kind of one of those, well, that's what we had today, so we're putting them in, and, you know, because that cluster may have been set up just that way. So it could still be an original, you know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
Very
yeah.
unusual.
Yeah, this is about as unique as barn finds go. This is, like we say, it's a real unicorn here. So, yeah, guys, stay tuned for more videos. We're going to, as soon as we know more information about this car, we'll share it with you. And then, of course, I'll probably have a video of us trying to extricate this from the Quonset where it lives. How long has it been here, Ken?
It was put in here in the summer of 1981.
1981.
So it's 40 years.
40 years it's been sitting here. And of course, we gotta get it back up, you know, up in the air and
Came into the yard, I'm gonna guess it was either 1976 or 77, but I think it was 1977. The summer of 77 is when the car came to the farmyard here.
Cool. So yeah, as soon as we know more information, guys, we'll share that with you. And like I say, we got to get it out of here and up in the air once we know more about it, and further assess, you know, what kind of course, you know, a car of this caliber is going to need a full restoration, and it deserves that. It definitely deserves a...
Anything less than a full-on would be doing it a disservice,
Yeah.
you know.
So yeah, so far things seem to check out. So as we know more, we'll share it with you guys. Well, thanks for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe. See you soon. Thanks.